Welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. In today's episode, we are going to teach you how you can eat meals out without feeling guilt, without ruining your progress. It's incredibly important to live your life along the journey of obtaining whatever health and wellness goals that you have. And so we're just going to give you some tips and tricks that we use ourselves as well as what we use with our clients. So if you're ready, listen up and lean in as we elevate your mind.
Dining out.
I
think this is a really important topic though, because this is where like diet culture, like what do I do when I go out to eat? It's like you can go out to eat and still meet your goals.
Absolutely.
And you can go out to eat and still indulge and be okay the next day too.
Exactly. This also brings up another topic that I'm going to bring in here is that we talked about the reverse diet. We talked about maintenance. We talked about creating this path throughout the year and building muscle and creating this environment in your body that is a furnace is going to be helpful in this too. But dining out in general, people, vilify it, that you can't do it. Yes. When you eat meals out, they're going to be a good amount of calories.
Yeah. Just
right?
by default. Like, remember when you went to, was it Pita Jungle?
Yes, I do. Let me tell you a story about that. So Pita Jungle is like a Mediterranean place.
It's supposed to be healthy.
Correct. So my parents, we were having a meal at their house and I decided to pick up Pita Jungle because I was actually in a deficit at the time. So I'm like, oh, but the thing that I wanted, I don't remember why I didn't get it. So they had this quote unquote like keto paleo bowl. And I was like, that's fine. I don't eat either of those diets, but I was like, it's cauliflower rice, chicken, broccoli with like sauce on it. And it was not tzatziki, the other Mediterranean tahini sauce. Thank you. Yes, you're correct.
Okay.
So I'm like, great. I usually
I would say maybe 500 to 600 calories just off like.
Correct.
Yeah.
I usually get a side of the cauliflower turmeric rice, a side of chicken, and a side of steamed vegetables when I'm in a cut. Okay. So I'm like, oh, great.
Just make it.
Just make it. So I don't even blink an eye. I'm like, great. I get it. I'm like, it wasn't that oily. I eat it. And then I do the thing where I looked it up afterwards.
See?
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding.
It was like 1,100 calories.
Jesus.
I sent it to Amanda. I was like, no fucking way.
I know.
And I
actually went on the website and looked it up too.
Yes.
And you sent me that because I was like, what?
Like, how is this even physically possible?
Well, then
and it's funny because we were at brunch yesterday.
Where'd you go?
We went to Lookout Mountain Tavern. It's just like a local place. I wanted
they have a breakfast burrito.
They do for you.
Ooh,
yes.
Yeah.
I wanted the bagels and lox. That's why we went there.
Oh, you're still on that kick.
They took it off. You went there with us. You went to Lookout Mountain.
Oh, we did. We did like Lookout Tavern. That random bar that we were all like, oh, we like this.
Yeah. So we went there because I wanted their bagel and lox. They took it off the menu. So then we're like, well, we don't want to eat here. Let's just get a snack. So we got nachos, but then she thought we ordered the breakfast nachos. And then they're like, well, we're not going to throw these away. We'll bring your other nachos. Anyway, this has nothing to do with the story. I ate like
lots of nachos.
Not a lot because I was like, well, we're going to eat somewhere else. Yeah. So you're looking at, and we were somewhere else over the weekend where they had the calories on the menu. Oh, no, my client. So this is going to go into the topic today. Our clients actually, when they do eat out, they'll send us the link to where they're going to eat.
Yes.
Because they're like, well, how do I track this? Or what should I choose if they're not tracking and maybe they're just using the food journal. And a client said, well, maybe I'll have, and it was something pretty clean, it was like the trout or something like that. I go, honestly, if you had this 6-ounce filet with these grilled asparagus, you could even have
baked potato.
Right. They didn't have a baked potato option, which was weird. There was a crudo I was like, crudo for the app.
What's a crudo?
Just like seafood.
Oh,
yeah. And there was different options. And it was just funny. She's like, oh yeah, I love steak, but she didn't choose the steak. I'm like, no, actually the filet mignon in Outback has a 6-ounce filet. So I know that there is a national chain that has their nutrition facts online that has a 6-ounce filet. So what we do is use that. So the thing though, I was going to say about yesterday is you're looking at, they have the calories on their menu and what you think is healthy is either the same as the thing that you want. So the cheeseburger is 710 calories and so is the Cobb salad. Sometimes the Cobb salad is more. And it's just funny. People just assume that it's got to be this clean, healthy thing when in all reality,
Well, and most of the times the salads are actually more calories than just getting the steak in general.
Oh yeah.
At restaurants.
1,000%.
Because they're not taking into account like, okay, so if say you get the salad, but then you got the dressing and they douse it in dressing, which dressing is an easy one that just like adds your calories. And then you think like, oh, I'll get the fried chicken or like the chicken strips with it instead. That way, like at least
you think
I'm
you're
getting
being
the
healthy
salad.
with the salad.
Yeah. So that way it's kind of balances like, okay, well that's a lot, you know, and then what they like the nuts is a big one that people overlook. The cheeses that they put in is a like if there's bacon. Butter. Yeah. So I'm like, well, and it's like get what you want. I mean, it's going to be you're better off getting what you want.
You're better off getting what you want and doing it in a way that your day is balanced. And what we're not doing is making up for it. We're just moving on with our life. Right. That one meal is not going to ruin your week. Now, for some of our clients, I do have clients that travel for work and they eat out often. So for that client, we do have to kind of bring it in a bit because they're constantly eating out.
Right.
You know, and I have 2 of those clients who have seen great results. And then I had a third client who just kind of had to maintain.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know, let's talk about this. Let's talk about things that people can do and give them resources as well. But I need y'all to understand you will be tracking inaccurately when you're trying to track food out because it's just going to be higher calorie. It's going to be anywhere from 800 to God, who knows what, 1,500, 2,000 calories. And if you don't plan for a balanced day, you can end up in a bit of a surplus. Again, so what, now what, we move on. However, I just need, because it's hilarious to me what my clients are not going to do is track a meal out and use a homemade or a skinny taste option.
No.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah, we're not going to cheat. And I'll even have clients cushion too. And we can talk about that.
Yeah. Too. So when we know, now I'm going to talk about 2 things. I think we talk about 2 things. We know we're eating out and oh shit,
I'm eating out.
We're eating out. Yeah. So I know, so my client Vanessa is like going out for my husband's birthday this weekend. We're going to Topgolf. Here's the menu. She sent it to me today. So we didn't touch her calories by any means. We're like, all right, let's get the shrimp tacos or the chicken tacos. You can get a side of fruit, side of salad. Or if you want to do the nachos, I would do that and just double the chicken. And we're able to plan for it. So then what I'll have her do is decide what she's going to have, give her whatever, you know, as many options as that's on the menu. And then I have her track it by backing into it.
Yeah.
So one of the best freaking resources, you guys, is Nutritionix. Nutritionix has 800 pages of national brands that have their nutrition online. Why is that important? Because most of the time, fingers crossed, they're incorporating in the butters and oils that they use to prepare that food. Right.
Wow. That's nice.
Most of the time.
Allegedly.
Right. And their job is to make it as look as healthy as possible, but taste as good as possible. So they're not as accurate as we want them to be. However, that is going to give you a closer to accurate account for that food than, again, the homemade person's meal from MyFitnessPal or the skinny taste meal in MyFitnessPal. So she'll go to Nutritionix and she'll simply look for 3 shrimp tacos. And then in MyFitnessPal, she'll use the quick add option where she's just copying whatever the nutrition. So Nutritionix will show you all the national chains that have shrimp tacos. She'll find one that, you know, we usually have them choose the higher. She'll find one that's higher and then just input that into MyFitnessPal. So then I'll ask her, are you going to have a drink that night? Yeah, I'll probably have 2 drinks. All right, put that in MyFitnessPal. So she's in a calorie deficit around 1,600. So that's going to account for about 1,000 calories.
Yeah.
Right? So now she only has 600 calories for the rest of the day. This is where that balance comes in. So we teach our clients, never do we ever want them walking into that meal starving.
Yeah.
So we're going to teach them, and in her case, she already knows how to create meals, breakfast and lunch, and possibly a snack that are very high volume and low calorie. So that might be a egg white only omelet with veggies and a side of berries. That right there is about 250 calories. It's really satiating because you got fiber in there from the veggies and the berries. You have protein, right? So that would be my breakfast. Then for lunch, I might make a big ass salad with a lean protein and a bunch of veggies and use something like a Bolthouse dressing that's lower calorie. That's going to be anywhere. That's be about 300 calories. Now I have 50 calories left. I'm going to be a bit over this day. So maybe I have a light and thick Greek yogurt right before I leave.
Or deli turkey.
A roll up. I like those egg life wraps.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
They're like egg white. And then you can put like deli turkey in them and it's just get a little bit more substance. So yes, it was only 600 calories left, but now she's got her day planned. She knows what she's going to eat. She's going to be like satiated throughout the day, where other programs will be like, we'll just skip a meal. No, we're not doing that. Yeah, I've seen it. Or, eat nothing, where people will have a protein shake. Some of my clients still do that. I'm like, stop what the fuck. Stop.
Well, what you're doing, it's just, I always equate it to Thanksgiving. Like when people don't eat before the Thanksgiving dinner or lunch or whatever time you guys have Thanksgiving, it's like, you just have to realize that now you're eating more than you would have at that meal.
Right.
If you would just eat before, you're not going to eat as much as Thanksgiving. You're not going to have that scarcity mindset. And then you're not going to feel like as bloated and like, afterwards. And again, if you're like, well, I really like everything at Thanksgiving or whatever it is, great. But you can still enjoy it. Like, what do you say? You say your taste buds are in your mouth, not your stomach. Yeah. So you can still enjoy it. It doesn't mean you need it. Like eating more doesn't make it taste any better. Right. It's just hitting you again and again with the flavor. Well, if I eat it slowly, we're going to do that.
Right. And how many times have you like just missed a meal and then you eat?
Oh my God.
And you can't like almost like,
I feel like I can't catch up.
Yeah. So when you get to that ravenous state, your body is just like, give me food. Your blood sugar is high. Like everything's going nuts. And we want to prevent that from happening, And so planning ahead and backing into the day is definitely something specifically for those of you who track food that's going to help you create a plan. And we talked about this in the cost of getting lean. Depending on your goals, you are going to have to make some compromises.
Yes.
Or you're just going to say, look, I am being intentional. I love the burgers at say Oso. I love Oso's burgers. When I go to Oso, I'm going to have a burger. I'm going to have some fries. I know that this meal, my scale might go up tomorrow because of the sodium or whatever it is. And I'm just being intentional with it. And I'm either going to compromise and find something that fits or just say it was a meal that doesn't fit.
I have a client that can speak to this. So her and her boyfriend, I think randomly decided to go get married, like at the courthouse or something. Like they're having a wedding, and she was in a cut at this time. And so she had messaged me, hey, we ended up getting married. And I was like, congratulations.
Yeah.
And she goes, but we're going to go out to like a nice dinner tomorrow night to celebrate. And so I was like, okay, sounds great. Let me know if you have questions. And because she's kind of at the phase now, if she was just starting, that would not have been my response. But she's at a phase where she's a lot more self-guided and I'm there for her kind of sounding board.
Yep.
And so I had said, let me know if you have questions. She goes, okay, well, here's the menu. So sent it to me because again, we have a history of doing that. She said, I think it was trout that she was going to get. And, or like some fish so she sent me what she was going to get. And it was like a nice steakhouse. And I was like, do you want that? We'll say she was going to get trout. And she's like, well, not really, but I'm in the cut and I'm trying. And I was like, honestly, this is like, you just got married. Like, why don't you just enjoy it? And she goes, well, should I scale back calories the day before, like today and then afterwards? And I was like, no, like this is good practice for you in general of what we've worked on the last, how long has she been my client now? Almost a year. I think they got married maybe 3 months ago or something like that. So 7 months, we'll say. This is what we've been working on. This is the time where you utilize that. You're going into this really like there's more to the meal than the calories. Right. Like this is a celebratory thing. Correct. Now you could flip side that and go like, well, me going out with my girlfriends is more than just about the meal. No. If you guys are going out for Taco Tuesday every fucking Tuesday, that's much different than I just got married to the love of my life.
Right. Exactly.
Like, or even like, oh, I have like these girls who, that you have that travel a lot. They could be like, well, I just, I travel a lot. It's part of my job. It's like, right. But it's also part of your lifestyle. So now we need to modify that.
Right. Well, when it becomes a constant, then, we've got to modify and work around it. And, for them, it's not as simple as what we're talking about. We definitely have, for them, they have to, travel with their like protein powder. They have to travel with,
I say protein powder, oatmeal, jerky sticks, protein bars. And then so for what I do for my clients who travel is I've got one in particular that goes to a couple different cities. So I said, I need you to make a list of each city and where you usually go. And so then what I did is made a document for her of here's where you go. Here's like how I would order the 5 things that I would get. So that way she doesn't have the decision fatigue at the end of the day too. So, and that's how we help clients is like, you tell us where you're going and what you're doing. And if you're going to these cities frequently and you go to these 4 places, we can find something on the menu. It doesn't mean you have to get like the shrimp tacos every time you go.
Right.
But
a variety of things.
Depending on what your goals are, like we can modify this order and doing that. Or even like we had talked about this client. So I usually have my clients send me the menu and I go, I want you to choose the 3 things that you want. And they send them to me and I go, depending on where they're at, if they're in maintenance, I'm like, I mean, how would you modify this if you want to? If they're in a cut, I'm going to go, here's your trade-off for everything else. And then I do have them pre-log it like you do.
Yeah. There's other things like if you're not tracking food that you can still do if you like have a health goal in mind. And I think we should just talk about things you can actually like ask for in a restaurant.
Lots.
One of the things that I do, especially when I'm trying to get more protein, is I will sub egg whites. Now that can be an upcharge. Or do double protein. That's one thing I do. What's one for you?
So like if we're going to talk about breakfast specifically, for breakfast is one of the meals where I'm like, there needs to be a protein because I see a lot of people, they want the French toast, the waffle, the pancake, or like even avocado toast, which is fine, but you better make sure there's eggs on it and not 1 egg, 2 eggs minimum.
Yeah.
So I think looking at breakfast specifically, is there a protein? And so what I like to see is there eggs, because that's most likely going to be the main source of protein, but can you add in like a chicken, like even turkey sausage, or just something to it to give it a little bit more volume in that sense, because most of the other stuff that you're going to have, especially considering brunch, we're probably having drinks, you're going to need more substance for the day.
Yeah. One thing too, I'll ask for, and I'm thinking about the specific meal that I get at US Egg. I love their skillets. They have a chicken, tomato, avocado,
probably
bacon,
potatoes,
hash brown skillet. So we'll get that. It's huge. So actually last time you came here, I was eating the other half of it. So I usually eat it for breakfast and lunch, but I'll get egg whites.
So that's another trick.
Yeah.
Splitting it in half when it's a big skillet like that. Right. You don't have to have it.
Split it with someone. My client, Michaela, who also travels a lot, she uses the food journal. She's like, I ate half of this burger and then 4 of us split the fries. I'm like, great, you're fine. But I also ask on this particular skillet for light butter and oil. Yeah. Because most of the time I'm just going to get regular butter and oil if I ask for light butter and oil.
Well, and even like, so like thinking of going into lunch and dinner, like if there's a baked potato, I always say on side. Like if I'm going to get, I only like butter on mine, but if you like sour cream, if you like the fixings, everything needs to be on the side. Because so for example, Michael and I, when we went to Outback, I got baked potato butter on side. He ordered baked potato, butter's fine. His comes out with like 3 scoops. Like it looked like ice cream scoops of butter on it. And he was like, holy shit. For him to say that, it was like pretty bold. And I thought like, yeah, like that is so unnecessary.
It's excessive.
Yeah. But that's what restaurants do, is there has to be like a flavor quality to it. And butter, oils, dressings are going to add that to it.
Absolutely. So I agree with you, on side or
splitting or
light, ask for light butter, oil, again, dressing on the side. And splitting food, always awesome. Or you can just ask to get a to-go box right away and then split that meal into, if it's a large meal and then just take it home. Another thing that I have clients do is create a 2-minute timeout.
Oh, yeah, I like this one.
So I'll have them split their plate up in 2 halves, either mentally or they'll physically like draw a line. And then they'll eat the first half. And I always tell them, like, you're going to assess your hunger after this first half. So eat it slowly if you can. And then they take a 2-minute timeout to assess where they're at in regards to their fullness. And they look at the rest of the plate and they'll get a to-go box and put what they don't think they're going to want to go. And then they'll eat the rest. And this is just to kind of slow down the meal, to really, again, listen to your body. This could be used in dining out. This could be used at a wedding. This could be used at, a friend's house that you don't know what's in the food. Again, this is for someone who has specific, maybe health and or aesthetic goals. So if this is not for you, obviously you probably don't give a shit, but it just helps to slow things down.
Yeah. And I think, so then I thought, going back to your client who split the fries, most of the time you can substitute the fries for something else. So like a baked potato would have more quality and nutrition than the French fries, sides of veggies, sides of corn, but if their only other side, like I always think of barbecue places, right? Barbecue places are kind of rough because it's either like coleslaw, cream spinach, mac and cheese is your side, or beans. So
I hate beans.
Oh, I like beans.
Don't like barbecue beans.
Yeah.
My nose is itchy. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. So like that kind of place, you're just going to pick your poison on that one. Yeah. Right. But for most restaurants or most dining out places, good dog.
There's a gnat.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's what was in my nose. Oh, Jesus.
Like, hopefully it didn't lay eggs.
Yeah.
It's not rocket. So when you're going out to restaurants, there's
my little gnat babies in my nose. I wanted to be a part of this too. Gross. Sorry, everyone.
Anyway, so when you're dining out to restaurants, most of the time they do have sides of stuff. So you can ask for the side of veggies, the side of maybe rice instead of, I don't know, like scallop potatoes. But, at that point, like rice compared to scallop potatoes, you're kind of getting in the weeds there.
Right.
And so then that's where we're talking about, look at the back half of your day or the front half of the day. And that's where you make the adjustments. Now, this is assuming you're going out to eat.
Correct. So one other thing about assuming if we're going out to eat. So for example, when I was in Vegas for my friend's wedding, that is actually a time where I did bank my calories throughout the week. Okay. Because I know we're eating out every single meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner. We have a wedding. There's drinking involved. There's
inconsistent meal times too.
Correct. Very inconsistent.
Hey, what's up, guys? Quick interruption from our sponsor, the Mindset of Matter coaching program. If you are tired of gaining back the same 20 pounds that you lose over and over again, if you're tired of having to work out 5 to 7 days with only seeing results that you do not desire, or you are just tired of living in a body that you do not feel confident in, you will want to take advantage of this month's offer. For the month of May, we will be offering $100 off our Mindset Matters cohort-style coaching program. In this program, you will receive curriculum and coaching to help rewire your mind to create new beliefs about yourself and ultimately gain the outcomes that you desire. In this program, you receive weekly reflections in the Mindset of Matter app. Each reflection is a part of the mindset method. On top of this, you also receive daily journal prompts to help enhance the things that you're learning or enhance the tools so that you can solidify them and utilize them moving forward. On top of this, you get access to myself or one of my coaches in a weekly group coaching call. In this call, you are able to ask questions and get coached through the reflection and the things that you're learning. The next cohort starts June 3rd. And again, for the month of May, we'll be offering $100 off. If you're interested in this, you'll find the link in the show notes below. Now, back to elevating your mind.
So what I did for that is I did cut down lower calorie days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. And then Thursday was a rehearsal dinner. Friday was a wedding. And I had a higher calorie bank for those days. So what that means, guys, is I was still eating at maintenance. But if I was to eat at maintenance at 2,200 calories, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then be at 3,000, and you're going to be like, no, I can eat. Yes, you can. Give me one day of you eating out every single meal, you will eat more than that.
Yeah, tracking accurately.
Yeah, and it's very easy to do. So if I'm at 3,000 now, I put myself in a surplus. So in an effort to not put myself in a surplus on the days that I'm home, and when I'm cutting down, did it get you?
No. I was thinking I should pull up my phone when I went out to eat with my parents the other week, and like that would be a good estimation of what it really looks like to eat.
I've done that with 3,000. Jenny, where I put it in. She's like, holy cow. She's like, how did you eat that much? Easy. But I'm not going into like death calories either during the week. So I think it was like 1,500 during the week, 3,000 for those 4 days. And then I just came back to my moderate diet. So that would be a different situation when you're eating out meals all the time. You're going on vacation. I wouldn't even say vacation, because sometimes on vacation we're just like enjoy yourselves, but especially event like that where okay, let me kind of play with this a little bit by banking my calories at the end of the day. But say that you don't know you're going out to eat and you're just like, what do I do? Now, obviously for our clients in our app, we have our food journal, so they can literally take a picture of their meal and they're like, this is what I had. And they'll self-report, I ate 75% of it. Yeah, great. Say you don't have any of that. Let's do this. We always want a plate with protein on it.
Yay.
And we want to eat that protein first.
Yes.
So protein, I mean, literally every place is going to have it, hopefully. I did go to a Italian place that didn't have any protein.
What?
Yeah. It was in Charleston, South Carolina. And it was just like pizza and pasta. Yeah. And there was no like meatball, or maybe it was like
a chicken parmesan or something.
Mm-mm.
Or like
it was
a shrimp
crazy.
Barbiata.
Yeah. Because we were like, what? That's so weird. There's no protein. It was nuts. But
that's
most places are
good.
going to have a protein, right?
Yep.
And then for me, I will eat that first. And depending, say it's a burger and fries is what you have. Like that's all the option is. I'm going to eat the burger. Yes, I'm going to eat the bun. I'm going to eat that first because that's my protein source technically. And then assess how many fries I want. And that's usually how I run it if I'm like going out and I didn't have a plan for it.
Yeah. I will assess, look at the menu and be like, okay, most of the time in the front half of the day, my nutrition's fine.
Same.
So that's kind of that's the other thing of like working with a coach like us too, is that most of the time your nutrition should be pretty full and filling and colorful and good with fiber and protein. So that way, if you were to have like a spontaneous dinner or even like a spontaneous lunch in the office, you're not freaking out.
Right.
Because you have essentially probably 3 other opportunities between 2 other meals and a snack to balance out the day.
Absolutely.
So, and that's the other thing to consider here, even if you are in a cut too, or weight loss phase. So that's something to consider as well, of like, overall, what is the quality of your food day to day? Because if the quality of your food day to day is, then that one meal that this happens, like the burger and fries, is not going to be so weighing on you, because you're going to be like, I mean, overall, like think of like the 80-20 rule, right? Like everybody talks about, I do 80-20. And it's like, but do you really? Because you're kind of freaking out about the 20.
Right.
So if the 80 is there, then what does the 20 really matter?
Right. No, it's true. It's 1,000% true.
Yeah. So if we go out, I'm going to look at the menu. I'm going to judge, okay, like where's my protein? For me, I don't do like fried. So that's where I know, like, I'm just not going to do fried. I don't really enjoy it. I think it all kind of tastes the same, like minus pregnancy, but but I'm just not going to get the fried chicken sandwich. I would get the grilled chicken sandwich, and that's fine, because burger bun. I usually do no bun. But that's probably more of a paleo kind of like thing left over, to be fully transparent. Fries, sure. But I usually just like veggies better, because sometimes if I have like the bun and the burger and the fries and all that, I feel weighed down and I don't like that feeling. So that's what I also think about too, when I'm looking at the menu for a spontaneous trade-off or a spontaneous meal, is how do I want to feel after I have this? Like, just because I'm going out for this meal and I wasn't expecting it, doesn't mean like, well, fuck it, I'm here. Like, even if it's Cheesecake Factory, like if I want the cheesecake, let's have the cheesecake. But I mean, you've seen their menu. It has tons of shit, but a ton of shit with calories. Right. Even their salads are like 1,000+ calories. So if they have the calories available, I'm going to take that into consideration. Because like, let's take Cheesecake Factory, for example. If the salad is 1,000 calories and then the steak with a baked potato is 800. I rather have the steak with the baked potato anyway, right? And I'm not making the decision based off the calories in that point, but then I'm looking and going, okay, so why would I get the salad? Like that just further reinforces. So definitely protein. I definitely look for a color veggie. I always get a side of veggies at some point. And then dressing on side is what I'll do. And so if I'm going out, like sushi is just kind of, it is what it is. Like there's sushi. If you're going to sushi and trying to get like the low calorie sushi, fuck off.
I will get the rainbow roll.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Get a rainbow roll, a dragon roll.
Oh yeah. And I like an amigo roll. Like I like a spicy roll. I like a jalapeno.
Yeah. We'll do, there's a senorita roll at,
the senorita roll at Blue Water.
No.
Blue Water has a senorita roll too.
The one over on 12th Street or 16th Street in Glendale. I forget the name.
Moto,
thank you. And then
they got a good roll.
Sushi Friends have good rolls.
You know who is also good too is they're off Camelback and Central. They're the same people that own
I know what you're talking about.
Whatever off in Arcadia. I forget.
Sushi Holic.
Yeah, it's the same people, but it's not called Sushi Holic.
Yeah. No,
they got good rolls.
Sushi.
I know. See, and that's what like. So again, so let's take a couple of Fridays ago. Michael and I went to the doctor's office, hungry, food at home. Like I didn't want to cook, and he's like, "Oh, I don't really want to." And we went and got sushi. I went over calories, but it was like at that point, I didn't like my front meals of the day were fine. I love sushi. I am enjoying it, but the next day I'm not going to make up for it.
No. Well, I think, like I said, it's really important too, because a lot of people will look at that one friend. I think we are that friend where we can go out, we can have a weekend or eat a meal out often, and we still have the body type that we have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is beyond this conversation, but it's important to note that the stronger you are, the more lean body mass you have, the more food you can eat.
Right.
So it's that friend who you're like, I don't get it. She just stays fit. Well, because she's prioritized being in maintenance, building, maybe even a bulk. She prioritizes protein. She's strength training, and that gives her even more freedom to go out and go over calories. It's not going to be a thing, because we have to realize too, like maintenance calories are a range.
Yes.
Too. Like, a calculator may say it's this, but we always try to push up as high as we can with our clients. So while we're teaching you how to do it in the moment, it's also important to know, like, oh, this is even more reason to follow this protocol that I'm not used to, that diet culture doesn't promote. It's not this restrictive thing. It's actually quite the opposite. And it just gives you so much more freedom overall. Like, I came back from Adrian's wedding the same exact weight I left before I left.
It's fine.
Or before I left.
Well, and that's one thing I do also want to circle back to, that when we talk about ourselves, is that, again, it took us a lot of time to get here. Like, and honestly, for me, I didn't used to eat these random meals that were over calories, or like, it was very hard for me to be spontaneous with my meals because they weren't tracked and planned. And therefore, if I went over it caused a lot of mental drain on me. And then even when I was at the meal, I had to be like, it's okay. Like, reminding myself of that. And that took a long time to get to this point of like, I fucking want a second roll of sushi. And it's okay.
Or I'm going to eat the bread.
Or I'm going to, what was something else that I had the other day that I was like I got short ribs from Oso. Like, I was like, I don't even, because short ribs are a very dense calorically thing. And then they're cooked at a restaurant. So double whammy. And I was like, it's okay. Like, I haven't had short ribs. Well, last time I had short ribs, I threw up. So I kind of want to redeem. And that's one of my favorite foods. And so I don't have the struggle as much as now, not to say it doesn't happen still. And it didn't happen still before I got pregnant. Now, me being pregnant, it's changed and freed that up a bit. But it took a very long time, but consciously practicing it and working through it instead of just shaming, shutting it down, and then making up for it some way or another.
Or going into that all or nothing, like, well, I'm already here.
Right. I might as well. Well, like going back to Cheesecake Factory, like, I'm already here, so I might as well have like the pasta with, all the sauce and the cheesecake. And then I'll just like figure it out on Monday.
Yeah. That's being a victim to your circumstances. Yeah. And unfortunately, you going out to eat is probably something you're going to do often. So are you going to constantly be in a victim state? Because if you do that, then we have a problem.
Right.
That's when we're going to see weight gain. You're going to blame it on eating meals out, but it's
you
actually
sabotaging yourself.
Correct. It's you sabotaging yourself. Now, I thought it'd be important to talk about that person who does struggle mentally.
Okay.
I think of my clients who we've done this with, and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. This was the first time I went out to eat and I didn't feel guilty for it, and, being able to realize that we talked about this in body image, like your body is not what makes you good. It's who you are. It's that, being able to go out to eat with your family. And yes, you have health goals. You can have both.
Yes.
It's not one or the other.
Right.
However, if we choose one over the other, we're going to have much different results. But from the cost of getting lean, you realize like, oh, I don't want to choose that one.
Right.
And then you don't necessarily want to let yourself go completely because we're trying to avoid that too. So we can have both by, showing up, being present. I think for a lot of people, having a plan, even though initially can feel a bit restrictive, it can feel a bit, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It will at least give them a little bit of peace walking into it.
And I promise that the plan that we create with you, not for you, is less restrictive than the plan that you've been doing.
Absolutely.
But it's just your thinking of it is what is making that restriction. And it's the uncomfortable and the fear that it's not going to work is what's making it restrictive. That's your self-sabotage coming in. Like, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. It works like when you cut last time or when you did the weight loss or that cleanse last time, that worked. Like, and that was restrictive though. Like if you get a diet plan and you can only eat egg whites at home, turkey breast or like chicken breast and broccoli, and then your dinner's whatever. I don't know what diet that was. I remember some gal you found, and then you could have whatever you want for dinner.
Oh yeah.
It's like, that's restrictive, but you're being uncomfortable in the freedom that we're giving you. But you have to realize, like, if you have a certain goal, there is a trade-off. So yeah, there is a little bit of restriction, or we can reframe that and think of, here's my trade-off for what I'm trying to achieve.
Right. Exactly. And, again, it's about, at the end of the day, you have choices. You have choices to, number one, I think when you're intentional with a lot of this stuff, then you create trust in yourself.
Yes.
So when I can say, so when we go to Steak 44, I am overeating.
When we go to Dominic's. See, we like that. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to have the shishitos and Brussels the crispy shrimp and the shishitos as an appetizer. We're going to have the bread because the bread is delicious. I'm going to have the filet. We're going to have the Brussels and probably I
love their Brussels.
A baked potato that we split. And their baked potatoes are huge. And we're going to have some sort of dessert. It's intentional. And when I leave that, we don't go there often. Right. It's a meal with my husband, or we're celebrating a friend, or whatever that is. And I'm intentional with it. And when I do that and I say, excellent, like I did this, I enjoyed it. And usually the sides, like even when we went to, what was it that we went to? Beauty in Essex, and we had all those meals. We had so much food in front of us, but really at the end of the day, like we just had little tiny, and that's how it is when we go to like Steak 44, even because they serve you it's family style, and we're intentional. And the next day I'm not worried about it. I come back to what I need to be. The dogs are not happy.
Well, we come back to what we've created that's sustainable, right? Like we've come back to our norms, right? Baseline, our norms. We've come back to understanding that. So say we do go to Steak 44 and the next day you or I feel guilty and like, oh shit, I really shouldn't have had that third glass of wine.
So just to recap, we've said a lot of things, but I want you guys to understand you can create a plan
based on what we've learned.
If you are wanting to, I think creating a plan too is one thing we didn't talk about is just kind of understanding what a day would look like. if we actually track the environment, like social, it is higher than you think it is.
The joy that you feel
well,
is
and
so much more than the 200
So say you are tracking food,
right?
Right. This is not for everybody.
And it's just,
but not tracking it.
Once you realize that,
make
it's a little bit more freeing.
Yeah.
Like that's
another thing.
I hate when
people fucking go to the gym the next day, not to work the calories up,
don't
but
like
you're
as
gonna have
coaches
a great
is
session.
Yeah. I'll
you
track
got that
it
extra bit of energy in your body. You're gonna have
track
a great
it ahead.
session. You're probably
Take
gonna
responsibility.
hit some PRs.
Don't make us a coach
and for me though, I will say something
to get it
for
in
me is when
because
I do
you're
have a
not
bigger
going to
meal like
remember
that,
everything.
I'm
And if you do, great. I don't believe you.
Oh,
but and if you're going to keep playing that game,
because I always think like, how
okay,
the fuck?
Yeah, you're only hurting yourself.
You're hurting
right?
yourself.
No, so I will
take responsibility for what you're trying to do.
But I
for
also
yourself
listen to my body the
because
next morning.
You have the time to look ahead at a menu.
Usually, am pretty.
I don't care who you are.
Really,
you have
so
the time.
on
the women that I have
fucking
do that
hungry
more
the
often
next
are the
morning, and I
busiest
think,
women I know.
how
And then
am I
say
hungry?
now
Like,
say
I
it was spontaneous.
so much.
You have
and
the
I listen to my body
opportunity
though,
here
and I
to
go,
message
I
your
need to
coach.
eat them.
You have the opportunity here to reflect on what you know and what we've worked on. And you have the opportunity here to read the fine lines of the menu.
Right.
So I don't want to come off as like bashing the client because I'm really not trying to, but what I'm trying to convey is that you have a responsibility based on your health, respecting your body, respecting your goals, respecting your values, respecting the financial investment that you've paid into working with us to little by little making this an easier process.
Yes.
Does that come across correctly? Okay.
Absolutely. Well, I think too, the hiding by not tracking is actually what's keeping you stuck too.
Yes.
Like the process. Well, I didn't want you to see it.
Yeah, I rather.
It's still
I'm more
fucking there.
I'm more pissed that I didn't see it.
I'm more pissed I didn't see it. And I guarantee you, if you actually put it in and we looked at the average for the week, you'd be like, oh,
right.
Oh, that's not that bad.
I only
and
went over at 200 and it's like, okay.
Yeah, we let go of the like this is bad. Well, it was 200 calories over for the week. Like, let's calm down. So tracking ahead, backing into your day, not starving going into one of these meals. This is exactly what you don't want to do. You will overeat. You will not feel like you catch up with your hunger.
And studies show that. Like that is like registered in literature.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, because and also like our leptin is going to like come down or come up slower. Our leptin is our fullness hormone because our body has been in this kind of starvation mode. That's not really a thing, but anyway.
Yeah.
If you're there spontaneously, we're going to have a protein, we're going to have a green, we're going to take our time with that meal. One of the things we like to say is if you like it, eat it. If you love it, eat it. If you like it, leave it. Meaning if you don't really like the bread and if you guys go back to the sustainable eating habits and it's in your non-nourishing, non-pleasurable, don't fucking eat the bread. Like just because it's in front of you does not mean you need to eat it. If that is something you struggle with, that is a mindset issue. That's a scarcity issue that we need to work on.
It's not a sugar addiction issue.
Correct. Yeah. No, that is definitely not it. Eat the foods that you love, eat them mindfully, split foods.
Yep.
Take half home. The people who don't like leftovers, I can't.
I love leftovers.
Dude, give me the steak from last night. Make it with some eggs. Let's go.
Some avocado.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
some salsa.
Yeah, we're good.
You don't have to eat the exact thing. You can make it a new thing.
Yeah, you rehash it.
Like we had chicken tenders from my favorite restaurant, Santisi Brothers. And I woke up the next morning. I was like, ooh, I'm going to make protein waffles and have a chicken tender on top.
Yeah. Or like even
so
like
good.
a burrito with it.
Yeah. What else did we miss?
Plan ahead. Like
if you need to bank
ask for
calories,
support. Like contact your coach.
Yeah.
But look ahead, kind of get an idea. Don't just do the victim mentality like you were talking about of like, I don't know. It's like, but you do.
You do
know.
Yeah. And one other thing we didn't talk about was like if you did have a plan and it's not there, which happened to me.
Yeah.
Right. We adjusted. Again, we had the luxury to not have to stay at that place. So we went somewhere else. But
I guarantee you, even if you stayed at that place, there's something that would have worked.
Yeah. I would have just had the 2 eggs.
Yeah.
Easy 2 eggs, toast, hash browns, done. Right. A lot of people are like, well, they didn't have the thing. And then the waitress was staring at me and I got really anxious. My client Amy told me about this. So then I just ordered the thing I used to order by default. And I'm like, no.
You can tell the waitress
to hold the fuck on. Yeah. She would rather go do something else instead of wait there anyway. So just like, can I have another minute?
Yeah.
You can ask for another minute. You can ask for modifications.
Right.
You can, ask for that, to-go box right away. These people don't know you. They don't care.
Nope.
So what
They're
else?
probably hungover.
Yeah. Well, that actually happens this weekend. That's funny. What else? Anything else?
No.
So hopefully this is helpful, guys. Eating out is a part of your life. It is, something like if you look at people who are competing, they don't get the joy of this.
No.
That's why they don't enjoy
Life.
competing. If you like our information, you can reach both of us on Instagram. Our general page is Mindset of Matter Coaching.
And I'm fitbyamanda.az.
You can find the recordings of this on YouTube at the Mindset of Matter page, as well as TikTok at the Mindset of Matter. And if you're like, I would love for someone to look at my menus. I would love for someone to teach me how to plan ahead.
Yeah.
I would love for someone to show me how to do this so long-term I have a foundation where I don't feel guilty and I can eat with ease when I'm eating meals out. Please click on the Clarity Call link below. You can set up a discovery call with one of us and see if the Mindset of Matter coaching program is for you. And please, always, always, always remember one thing.
What you say in the mind.
You see in the mirror. Bye-bye.
Oh, bye-bye.